Well, so let's bring in constitutional law attorney and former prosecutor Jenna Ellis now to join us to talk a little bit more about the findings and Barr's summary. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Heather. Always great to see you.
So what are your initial thoughts as you watched all of this unfold yesterday?
Yeah, well, this was an absolute and complete total vindication for the president. And regardless of what the leftist mainstream media is reporting, the obstruction of justice question is completely closed. What you're not seeing reported is the full sentence and the full scope of that page to Barr's letter. Because remember, it says that the evidence developed during the special counsel's investigation is not sufficient to establish obstruction of justice. What most mainstream media outlets are reporting is simply cutting off that sentence to say the special counsel's investigation was not sufficient. So now they're calling for even more investigation, where Mueller has, the almost 3,000 subpoenas, 500 witnesses, 22 months. This was fully sufficient. And so the obstruction of justice question absolutely is closed. And American people, Heather, regardless of whether you're an R or a D, should be celebrating the fact that our president, regardless of who voted for Donald Trump and who didn't, he is our president, and he was completely honorable throughout his campaign and throughout his tenure in the White House.
But what a lot of Democrats are saying now, and some expected this to happen in terms of Barr, they're saying, this summary was written by Barr and Rosenstein, who were both appointed by President Trump. Here's what Pelosi and Schumer had to say, their statement on it. Given Mr. Barr's public record of bias against the special counsel's inquiry, he's not a neutral observer and is not in a position to make objective determinations about the report. And then add to that, they're saying that he and Rosenstein were both appointed by President Trump. So what about that?
Well, that's just simply not factually accurate. And the Attorney General has to be an unbiased party. And let's remember, these are the same Democrats who were claiming that Loretta Lynch as well as Eric Holder were unbiased observers. So they can't claim that one Attorney General is and another Attorney General isn't, just based on the party of the president that appointed them. So that's one thing. But then second, let's remember that Barr has a significant history here. He was part of the Bush administration. He is not new to the ballgame, but every time that a prosecutor looks at the evidence, it's not just their opinion about it. They have to look and make a legal conclusion and determination. That's what Barr did, and his summary was thorough. It was incredibly transparent, and it also just summarized what is going to be coming out later in the report. So if there are discrepancies, we, the American public, will know that. So he's going to be careful.
And let's talk about that. What could be coming up? A lot of folks now questioning President Obama's role in this, Hillary Clinton's role in this. Listen to this exchange, which was back in January. Listen to this.
Do you promise me, as Attorney General, if you get this job, to look in to see what happened in 2016?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
How do these statements sit with you?
I was shocked when I saw them.
So should the Obama administration, should Hillary Clinton now both be investigated in terms of what led up to this investigation of the president to begin with?
Absolutely. And, a lot of us who are conservatives and who understand that the rule of law and equal protection of the law and equal justice under the law means that everyone who is potentially involved should be investigated. We've been calling for an investigation of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and anyone else on the Democratic side since the very beginning. This has been a one-sided investigation, and the president was absolutely right in his remarks yesterday. So, of course, the American public need to know who else was responsible for this. Was there any collusion on the part of the Democrats? Of course that needs to be investigated.
Yeah, that's why a lot of folks, Republicans, there really doesn't seem to be a lot of controversy. They do agree as well that the Mueller report should be released, but they're also calling for all of the material leading up to this investigation, that to be released as well. So we'll see what happens. Jenna Ellis, thank you so much for joining us. Busy day.
Thank you, Heather.
Thanks.